Do you like playmats? Of course you do. This episode is sponsored by the Duros Kickstarter campaign, featuring 2 iconic Magic artists bringing their art into playmats for you. This campaign includes 5 iconic Magic the Gathering art pieces as playmats, with CDH All-Stars Talion, Bulls the Citadel, and of course Underworld Breach. But we wouldn't be the Crybabies if we didn't mention Kalia the Vast from Modern Horizons 3. With an additional 7 stretch goals available to unlock, including playmats like Steam Vents, Aurora Shifter, and Witch's Clinic 2. This campaign does end on December 18th, so be sure to check out the Kickstarter if you'd like to back it. Welcome to Scrybabies. I'm Lewis Stardust.
I'm Tori the Vast.
And this is the Scrybabies Wrapped. It's like Spotify Wrapped, the year-end chat about everything that happened in 2024. We're going to be ranking our 2024 decks. We're going to be talking about year 2. We're going to be talking about every set that came out this year and what we thought about it, I guess, is kind of what we're doing today.
Yeah.
And of course, we want to hear your thoughts on what you want to see from us in 2025. But before we get into that, let's talk about our sponsors. We'd like to thank TCG Player for sponsoring this episode.
TCG Player is your one-stop shop for all TCG needs, whether it be Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Flesh and Blood, you name it, they got it.
We've had so many sets come out this year, so if you want to pick up any singles or sealed product, there's been so many things already. We've had Fallout, Assassin's Creed, if you're looking for more Universes Beyond stuff. Of course, we have the brand new Foundations that came out, not to mention Bloomburrow, Duskmourn, so many things.
Modern Horizons 3, all the cool stuff.
We're always forgetting at least one, and it's MKM each time. But there are so many sets. If you want to pick that up, you could do that. It's also a great way to pre-order some stuff. So if you're looking into 2025, I'm not sure what's available yet, but I know the first set is going to be a remaster set, which is
Innistrad! And then on Valentine's Day, we're going to have Aether Drift.
It's the best Valentine's Day gift. So if you wanted to pick up some products for yourself, whether that be singles or sealed product, then TCG Player is your one-stop shop. And we recommend checking them out with our link in the description down below.
Thank you, TCG Player. We love you.
We do love you. And this episode is sponsored by Dragon Shield.
Dragon Shield is the best way to keep your cards safe from coffee, icky fingers, anything that can damage your cards. Not with Dragon Shields. Keep them safe.
You keep them safe.
Secure.
We just talked about a bunch of cards and how you can buy them, but if you do want to keep those cards safe, this is definitely the way to do it. They actually have a ton of new products available. Right now, I'm holding those anniversary sleeves. We showed off a bunch of different ones this month, including their Celestial collection, the Gremlins collection. I'm sure we're going to see way more happening in 2025, so if you want to keep your deck safe, check out Dragon Shield.
Today's featured patron is Hannah Fortune. Thank you, Hannah, for being a patron. It's patrons like you who make these episodes possible. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, check the link in our description down below.
It's pretty cool. Tori does some really good art on there, some little tokens.
Yeah, we have some tokens of the month. I also do hand-drawn tokens for the higher tiers every month. So you get a little personalized drawing from moi, yours truly. We have some cool signed cards, some playmats, all sorts of cool stuff. So come check it out. Come and get it.
All right, so before we get into everything we played this year, I just want to kind of get your 2024 set rankings. What was your top sets of the year and then your least favorite sets of the year? Because I know that we were really anticipating both Bloomburrow and OTJ. Of course, Modern Horizons as well, but those were the two theme sets we were most looking forward to. So how'd your year plan out?
I think that Modern Horizons 3 was probably my favorite set that came out to play. I had really fun. I had a lot of fun opening those cards, playing those cards. Just some really cool busted cards that came out of MH3, which was fun to see. I always love seeing a modern set come out. And then Bloomburrow, I think, was my favorite. I guess you could say standard set.
I think it's this is where I'm feeling it's a little hard too, because for me, my number one set of the year was Bloomburrow, right? But then I'm looking at things like MH3 and Foundations would feel like they're just core main sets that that aren't thematic to the year, even though they were a big thing that came out this year. It wasn't OTJ or something else that came out, right?
Yeah. If I have to go with my favorite set, just based off of art thematics and everything else, not impacting formats and stuff, it'd probably be Bloomborough.
Right.
Bloomborough had my favorite story. I was so captivated by the story. The artwork was fantastic. The characters were super memorable. And I think it was just something that they've never really done before.
I don't think there was any misses either with the
Yeah,
set.
it
I
was
think there was a
super
lot of great
cute. I
things.
loved, like, at MagicCon Vegas, they had the cute little interactive area where
Very
they
fun.
had, like, the felting, like, figures of all the creature. It was great.
Yeah.
Loved Bloomborough. I couldn't wait for it to come out, and it didn't disappoint. So that was probably my, like, chef's kiss.
Mhm.
And then I want to make an honorable mention. Dustborn very much surprised me.
So fun. Yeah.
I'll be honest, I wasn't, like, stoked on Dustborn. I'm never
Mhm.
like, "Ugh," about a Magic set, but I was like, Dustborn would be probably cool, I guess.
Yeah.
But when I got to read the story and I was like, whoa, this, like, is not what I think it is at all. And,
Right.
like, the cool products that came out, like the poster artworks they did for those cards, the TV little bundle, just a big, massive win.
I also thought that, like, the thematics from MKM would be above Deskborn for me this year, and that was completely the opposite because that was the one set that, like, I just didn't enjoy.
It got a Doom.
Yeah, it was not my top tier deck, and I don't like to be negative on here, so I'm not gonna be like super negative about it. But I expected it to be the same kind of level of Duskmourn, where I was excited. I'm like, ooh, it's a murder mystery. It's gonna be really fun. And Duskmourn was my number 2, of course. I'm a spooky girly. I loved it, so that was a hit for me this year. And like I mentioned, I do think that Foundations and MH3 were kind of like those core sets of like integral parts of Magic. Not to say
Mhm.
that the other ones aren't, but I feel like those are kind of like always going to be in the middle or high tier, right?
Yes. Agreed.
And obviously my other one that I was not super pleased with was Assassin's Creed because I felt like I left a lot to be desired. With
I just don't know anything about Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed. And unfortunately, I felt like it was very quick. I felt like it was in and then out.
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like,
Like,
I didn't get to really, like,
I-
learn about
I
Assassin's
don't really
Creed.
know much about Assassin's Creed. I played like one game. The Alexios card was really good and correct. I have that. But like other than that, I feel like I didn't get to like enjoy the set. The way that the products were distributed were really different. Like at least with Fallout, we had 4 pre-con decks and then collector's boosters.
I will say,
Yeah.
Fallout's Magic set made me play Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
This Magic set made me go on my dusty Xbox, turn it on because I'm a fake gamer, and actually play this game, and then make Steve play it for me because I kept dying.
But I also felt like the timing was really good with it because the show
Yes,
came
the
out.
show
at the same
came
time.
out.
And like I don't think they knew that was going to come out because they plan for these things years in advance, right?
Yeah.
But I just felt like with Assassin's Creed there wasn't like a big thing next to it, so it was hard to sell it unless you were a big Assassin's Creed fan and might have pulled in people. I can't imagine it pulled in more people than like Fallout did this
Yeah.
year, you know.
Yeah, Fallout was great.
So those are my like misses and my favorites this year. I would love to hear what everybody else thought. I think there's obviously everybody's gonna have their own favorite thing. I think I wanted more out of OTJ2, like as well. I wanted more from that set, but I had so much fun playing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
it was a fun set. I'm really happy that they
Yeah,
made it.
Thunder Junction was really fun. I got Bill out of it, so I'm like already happy. It was cowboys. It was fun. It was a cool set. But yeah, I wish it went a little bit. It was campy, which was good, but I wanted a little bit more. I hope they go back to Thunder Junction.
Yeah, I hope it's a plan they revisit too. I also got my child loot, so I really can't complain about the set and Oko, all the OTJ surrounding us in our studio, which brings me to our next point. We got a new studio, so if you didn't notice this year, we moved studios. It's a different space.
We did, and we listened to all the feedback that we see on our episodes. You know, we've had some people say like, "Hey, like sometimes the sound's a little weird. The lighting might not be the best." You know, we've been really, really working hard to. We just ordered some new lighting equipment for gameplay. We upped the mic quality, and we've been really putting a lot of attention into those details that make the viewership portion more fine-tuned to those needs that people have. So you will notice that we are getting better. Getting better, getting bigger things, doing it.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some changes. I'm going to do like, we have some big shoots coming up, but I'm going to do like a structural overhaul of like soundproofing in here and making sure that like the audio can be the best quality. We talked about maybe we do other upgrades throughout the studio. So that's a big project for us going into next year is another studio change. We started from like my tiny apartment in Connecticut and going to a local game store to filming in my old apartment and like just really trying to get the groove of it. And for two people who have never done this before, it's been a lot of like learning and like challenging things. So we appreciate you sticking with us. Another thing is we did lose quite a few episodes this year. I think we lost like 3 or 4 of them. In particular, I can't rank my Kai card deck today because all the games with my Kai card like that I had this year got lost. So we're hopeful to like, I think it's we lost less this year than the year before, but we
Thank
still
God.
lost stuff. And
Yeah.
it happens. It's always going to happen depending on like what's, I think any creator will lose footage and things will happen.
Yeah.
Right.
And we were fortunate that, as much as it sucks to lose games or have these mishaps, there are also learning opportunities. So now we learned about using better memory cards,
Mhm.
better storage options. And, we've had a lot less mishaps as we learn, but you don't learn until you know.
Yeah. So that's kind of like a thing we're putting forward into next year, which we're really excited about. We're also excited about doing more collabs.
Yeah, we went to Los Angeles this year. I almost said Las Vegas. We went
did
to
that
Los
too.
Angeles back in April this year, and we filmed a ton of Commander gameplay with a lot of our friends. Some of the big faces in the community like Rachel, Jimmy, Joe Manganiello,
A lot of people.
a lot of people, Krim,
Ashley and Craig.
Ashley,
Yeah.
Ashlyn, Becca,
A lot.
a lot.
So we're hoping to do other shoots like that next year because I know there's a lot of people that we want to showcase on Scribeebs. Scribeebs. And so it's important for us to showcase people from kind of just like all over that content that we enjoy. We know that you enjoy. So we do take community feedback as far as like what you do want to see. So if there's ideas or topics you want to see or guests you want to see, we kind of put that out there. A lot of the guests you've asked for are ones that we have scheduled for next year, which is really, really exciting. And yeah, we're just trying to figure out what type of videos. Like we did some pre-con videos for Wizards of the Coast this year, which was really fun. We enjoyed doing those, but we want to know, do you want like pre-con upgrade videos? Do you want what is the best commander from this set videos? Is there's like specific themes you want to see too that really helps us plan out what we're going to do, because I don't think people realize, especially with the recent bans that had happened, that we film games months in advance. So the last like 3 episodes, and we have at least one more coming out this month, people were like surprised by the fact that it
Mana
was
Crypts.
Mana Crypts and Docksides and Jewel Lotus and all that stuff. And they don't realize how much we had recorded. So like the stuff we recorded in LA, we did that in April and it went to pretty much October.
Yeah.
So that's just something to consider too.
Yeah. So, if you have content that you want to see or decks you want to, watch, or even if it's like a theme or an idea, even if you think you're shouting into the void, you're not, definitely comment on those channels, especially ours, that what you want to see, and we'll listen and we'll apply that.
All right, so that's a little bit about what we're hoping for next year. We're going to talk more about that later. But now we're going to be getting into our tier list. So this is everything that we did play this year. We did a ranking last year. And just to kind of put it out there, this year we had 25 episodes. Last year was 22, so more episodes.
More episodes.
Isn't that pretty cool?
It's crazy. I just did our thumbnail for our last gameplay. I don't know when this is airing, but we have at least 50 gameplay episodes.
Crazy.
50. That's
crazy
a lot.
to think about. And we're still doing bi-weekly. It's just not like in our budget or time to film weekly at the moment. But that's why we do the podcast like this, so you can enjoy more Scribabies in general. So we did an S tier ranking system in which S was the best decks coming into next year with us. A was fun but needs improvements. B probably won't be coming back. C is scrapping for parts. And D is for Dookie, which Tori named during the episode, so we will never be playing them again. Our S tier decks were as follows. Mine was Lathril, 11 and Mike, Kinnan, Paco and Halden, and Nira, and Tori's were
the First Sliver, Meriwether Light Duelist, Tim Necrom, Marwyn, and Najila.
So my question for you is like, did you play any of these decks this year? Did the bans change those decks for you? I know we mentioned that we lost a few cards, including Nadu, which neither of us were really playing.
Neither of us were playing Nadu. I feel like Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus definitely affected Tim Necrom more than I realized. Not like a lot, but like Crom's kind of expensive, so having some of those like fast mana helpers to get him out was very helpful.
I think it's
Also
like a
in
thing you
Najila
relied
too.
on too. Yeah,
It's something that I like relied on and looked for a lot too.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, oh well, if I have this Mana Crypt, then I'll at least have some mana in the bank to use.
Yeah.
So losing those doesn't really like turn those decks off, but I did feel the change when I started playing them again. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. I would say they like definitely affected Paco and Halden in a way that's like not great. Kinnan is fine. I'm not really playing Nira anymore because I felt like I really got what I wanted out of her, which was to play the River Song stuff, and it was really cool. But then the Eldrazi stuff was just not the way I wanted to play the deck.
Yeah.
She's super mean. And then I kept Lathril, kept 11 and Mike, so I'll be playing those and Kinnan for sure, I think.
I have some unfortunate news.
What?
Miri Weatherlight Duelist has been taken apart.
Why?
It's my S tier deck taken apart. I retired this deck.
A Fallen Soldier.
A Fallen Soldier. Forever one of my favorite decks, but it has been made into something new, which we'll talk about in the decks that we played on the channel.
Ooh, very exciting. All right, so as a reminder, we're going from S to D. That sounds crazy. So we're going to go into every episode, talk a little bit about it and what decks we played, kind of rank them on the system. The first episode that we put up this year was with Alan and Sam. In this, you played Kumena, and I played Narset Super Friends.
Yeah, Kumena was a really fun deck. That one was a C tier for me, and I did immediately scrap that for parts not long after that was filmed. Was the deck, is that commander bad? No. That commander is a very fun Simic Merfolk commander deck. I just had it built like a little bit over a precon.
Right.
And for the games that we play and the power levels we tend to play at, it just wasn't holding up.
Right. And I want to do some games where it isn't, where we can play decks at that power level. The problem is when we have like those set days, usually we have anywhere from 4 to 6 guests that we rotate throughout 1 to 2 days.
You need quicker games.
And so you need quicker games. And so we do have to play a little bit more higher power, which is why I enjoy when we do like pre-cons, $50 budget decks, or like pre-con upgrades. So I'm definitely interested in doing more of like the like, I don't know. Well, there's some terms of like, we've talked about brackets a little bit. Wizards has talked about brackets this year. The Commander Format panel has talked about brackets, which I'm part of, which is really cool, but we haven't like put it out there yet and what the plans are. And I honestly don't know if I even can like announce that or even talk about it because I don't even know what's happening fully yet. It's a big discussion, but there has like initially been the talk of like 4 brackets, right?
Right.
And whether that is going to be the thing or if it's more or less, I have no idea, but it would be really interesting that if it is a thing to kind of figure out where Scrybabies can like do different types of games and like play with those. I don't want to use the term power level because I think power level is hard and it sets a mindset of like playing to win. But at least like if it's lasagna tier or if it's like, you know what I mean? Or if it's we're playing for silly guys or maybe we're playing for this. I would like to find like different moods for the games that we play.
I agree. And that's the thing that stinks is like Kumena's a really fun deck. I remember when I built it, it's just one of those decks that like another thing too is there's been so many cool Merfolk that have come out.
So many,
that I kind of want to like build the newer ones and see what I could do with those as opposed to Kumena who I've already played.
Yeah, and you can still play Kumena in a deck too because it's a good card, right?
Exactly.
Yep. I played Narset Super Friends. This was my way of making Narset fair, and it was mentally exhausting. I ended up playing a combo that I just never executed in my deck, and so it was very, very long. But the deck was fun. I like Narset. I like playing with Planeswalkers. It's just not great for the channel. And so since then, she's definitely been scrapped. While she is a great commander and while she is a good time, she's scrapped for parts. So that's where Narset lives now. We did have a great time filming with Alan and Sam. They nicknamed, I think, themselves the Dookie Boys in that video, and it was just chaotic energy. Yeah, it was a very fun game. So our next episode was episode 28, where we had Yogg and Boy Hero come play. I think it was an old man that Yogg played and an Edgar Markov, and we played...
I played Totenzons.
And I played Atla Palani.
Yeah, Totenzons. I really liked that deck. I built that with Steve, and it was just like... It was just me wanting to play rats.
Yeah, rat bulk.
Yeah, it was a lot of rat cards, which are notoriously not like the best, but they were fun. It was like a flavor deck. I did scrap this for parts. I did actually bring this to a MagicCon though, and I won with it, which was really cool. But I scrapped it for parts. I think that's another one that like could be better, can't really fly, and as thematic and fun as it was, after, like, I make enough rat jokes, I just was not having fun anymore. I was just losing.
I played Atla Palani, which I think you could build anyway, but I felt like because we had Ixalan and a bunch of stuff come out, I wanted all the dinosaur stuff. So it was very dinosaur focused. This deck, I think, it's actually still together. I don't think it's going to be coming back onto the channel unless I make some like big improvements into it. So it might be living in a B tier, but I think the deck is really good. Like Alapani is always great. When you could do her ability more than once, it's always fun. I like anything that's like a surprise, right? So getting to make all those egg defenders and have somebody attack into you or to blow them up and make a bunch of dinosaurs poop out sounds really fun. But yeah, I would say she's probably living in a B tier, won't be coming back despite me really enjoying her. Maybe A. Maybe she needs some improvements. Let's put her there. Next, we have episode 29, which was with Light and Anna Margaret.
I played Anna Margaret's Galadriel deck in this episode, and I give it an S for S tier, not just because Anna is the best, but also the deck was just really, really cool, really good, really powerful, stacked with all the cool Lord of the Rings cards.
Yes.
I loved that deck to the point where I was like, damn, I kind of want to build this deck.
Yeah.
So
it's a fun one. It has a lot of cool abilities too.
It's an S tier for me. Will it come back? I don't know unless Anna comes back. But maybe I'll build one.
Maybe you will. It's a really fun one. I like that episode too. I played Lathril. We've talked to Lathril a bunch on here. She's my S tier girly. She's not going anywhere. She actually just got a new art with foundations, so I will be updating that. And a bunch of really cool new elves that came out with foundations too. There's some really strong ones. So I will be making upgrades for her to bring into next year. I think maybe like one Lathril game a year in which you see the new upgrades is kind of where she's going to live on Scry Babies. But she's one I bring to my Commander Nights and to events as well. So I love her. I'll keep her safe forever. Our next episode was with Ian and Veggie, and you played Teysa, and I played Liliana.
Teysa, this was a deck that Steve built, actually. I've been on a theme where I've just been taking everybody else's deck and playing them, apparently. That deck was really, really fun. It was a black-white deck, which is something I actually don't really play a lot of. So I got to play some different play styles for myself. I don't want to spoil the episode, but it worked out. It's funny because the way that it was built and the way Steve was like, oh, here's how I play it, I did not play it that way. But it still was really, really fun. And it was also out of my wheelhouse because I'm usually very like aggro when I build decks or play decks, but this one was not that. And it was really fun.
That's really cool. I like that deck.
Yeah, I think that was an A tier. I should probably bring something like that back.
I played my Liliana deck, which is the Liliana Planeswalker flip card. I put every Liliana possible. I just love her. So that was my deck where I made it really pretty and I put every possible like zombie Liliana type card in there. I would say it's kind of similar to what you're saying where it's not up to par for like a faster game.
Yeah.
Especially because it's really hard to make people want to play with you when you're sacking all their creatures and then it's taking a little bit of time. If it was sacking them and going a little bit quicker, I think it would be an easier game to bring to a table like this. So it's probably in B, won't be coming back, but it's a really fun theme deck and I enjoyed playing it. I also always love playing with Ian and Veggie too. They have really great chemistry, so we'll definitely be bringing Veggie back for more episodes as well. Our next episode was 31, and this was with Kuro and Air Bubbles. This time you played Atla Palani.
I did play Atla Palani, and I had so much fun playing Atla. I think that's also an A tier for me. Like, the deck is really fun. It's really good, but, like, I don't know. I feel like the scene in Toy Story where Andy's like, I don't want to play with you anymore, dinosaurs. Because, like, there's all these other really cool creatures coming out that are, like... And, like, Atla Palani is, like, a theme deck.
Right.
It's a typal deck. It's dinosaurs.
But you could play with other stuff too. You could play just like angels and big creatures, right? But it fits best.
It fits best with dinosaurs. It's cool with dinosaurs. And again, I love it, but I'm like, now I want to play with the cool new toys that came out, like all the Eldrazi's and all the other stuff. And I want to play with the dinosaurs.
Right. So in this episode, I played Nira. This was probably the best showing of Nira possible. It was out with River Song, which was basically like anytime you would cast a spell with Nira, it would go to the bottom, but River Song would have you draw that card. And so it's just constantly cantripping and like pulling out big Eldrazi. It is an S tier deck for sure like that, but I think I'm going to be putting it to A. It's really fun. It needs improvements for me to want to play the deck again. I think she's a really cool commander. I love that she's a 2/7. Her ability is really cool. I just don't think cheating out big Eldrazi's is fun for me. Maybe like cheating out dragons or something else would be like a little more silly. I just think the Eldrazi are too mean for my liking. And so that's why she's going to be living on the A tier. Maybe we'll see her next year, but I'm not going to like completely take her apart. I think she just needs a lot of changes. That was also Kuro and Air Bubble's first time on the channel, so we had a great time having them out. And now we're going to go to episode 32, which is CDH with Mod and Ian. I played Ob Nixilis and you played Najeela.
I love Najeela. Najeela's always going to be S tier for me because Najeela just has like every single fun card in CEH in it because it's a 5-color deck. It's also a cool combo deck, cool aggro deck. It has a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Najeela's just, I always tell people, like, as CDH decks go, like, that's my favorite probably.
Yeah, she's a great, like, it can feel overwhelming for a beginner to get into Najeela, but it gives you such a variety of, like, what CDH is. And you have, anytime you lose a win condition, you're like, okay, well, I have Najeela who's, like, super strong, or another win condition.
Yeah, it's a good, like, there's a lot of different plans. You got plan A fails, it's okay. You got plan B, you got plan C, you got plan D.
Yeah, and the list goes on. It's a really great one. I played Ob Nixilis here, as I mentioned. This deck is super fun. I am not a Rakdos person when it comes to CDH. I don't like being very limited in my color pool. I played some other decks that involved red and black this year, and I gravitated towards those more than I did for Ob, but it was a really fun deck, and I enjoyed playing it. Very strong commander, too. Our next episode was 33, which was our pre-con commanders for Fallout. Ian and Steve played with us. We got to pick our decks. Tori had a dog meat deck, and I played with Caesar. What'd you think about these?
I thought these Fallout commander decks were so much fun.
Yeah.
Now that I played some Fallout, I understand the themes a little bit more. Dog meat for me, I don't really want to put like the commander itself on a tier. I'll say it was an S tier for all of the decks as the theme.
Yeah, I think the S tier for like the precons were a smash hit for sure.
Yes. For precons, I'm judging them based off of just like flavor and like fun because obviously we didn't build them, so I can't really like tier them.
So we'll say it's S tier for them as precons, but for you, if you were to build dog meat, do you think it could go like
It would have to be built different.
Yeah.
Built different. When I played Dogmeat's ability didn't really happen for me because it was supposed to be like milling enchantments and stuff and like bringing them back. I did not do that, I don't think, in the game.
And I guess my question for you is because you played Earl, who's like literally the same colors, kind of doing the same thing. Would you just rather play like, I mean, obviously it's your deck, you've tuned it, but do you think you can make a version of that works for, this is Winnie, it's my new cat, named after Winota. She's very sneaky. But do you think that Dogmeat could be on the same level? Would you change it? Like, would you trade Earl for that, or do you think
I don't think I would trade Earl for Dogmeat solely because my Earl deck is the Philly Fanatic.
Yes.
So that would be sacrilegious. And Dogmeat's really fun, but it's if I'm playing an enchantment deck with like a beatdown, I like playing like the big dumb idiot deck, like I call it.
Right. So I played Caesar, and I do think that could be a really great Naya deck. He was really strong.
He was very strong.
His ability was really good, and so that's a deck I would consider building for sure. I've had a lot of decks I've wanted to make this year, but time is just like going so fast, and I feel like it's always like every time we catch up, a new set comes out.
Yep.
So I'm hopeful that like going into next year, I want to make a deck from each set that I didn't this year, just to have one for, because I think it could be fun to bring on to Scry Babies. But I think he's also an S tier like guy. I can see myself making him. We both love Mardu, right? So I thought he was a really great addition.
Yeah, he was really cool.
Our next episode was some CDH with Play to Win. Tori played Najeela again, and I played Kinnan. I think this was my revenge for Cam because the first time I played Kinnan with him, it got totally destroyed. It didn't do too great in this episode, but I think Kinnan lives as an S tier commander, so we'll move on from him. We played a lot with Play to Win this year.
We did.
Yeah, people really seem to enjoy them, so we will absolutely be bringing them back. Our next episode was OTJ Precons with Steve and Ian.
$50 upgrade.
Oh yeah,
OTJ.
it was $50 upgrades. Yeah. You picked.
I played Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Mardu deck. I thought this deck was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't. I don't really remember the deck as much.
I think you wanted to play the other guy.
It was like a treasure one. I wanted to play Vito.
Yeah,
Vito comes in that deck. I should have just played Vito and tinkered with it that way. I didn't because I wanted to keep the commander the same. They were cool.
Yeah, I think I was excited by her design like when it came out, and then I was just like not interested. Like it's been done, I guess, right? Like, and I do think he's probably the cooler option of the two.
Yeah, so. Vito Goldwaker, I think his name is.
I think
Vito
so.
Goldwaker.
That seems right.
Yeah, it's a cool treasure deck, and I think there was more opportunity for Vito. So I'll put Olivia at like a B. I think the set as a whole was probably like an A.
Yeah. Because
Steve played Felix 5 Boots.
Oh, it was crazy.
Felix 5 Boots was great.
Was really fun. Yeah,
that's a great commander. And then you played Yuma.
I did, and you know what? For me, like, I would say it's an A tier deck. I
Mhm.
really loved playing this deck. I made like a Crucible World and like Azusa, like little additions to do more land related stuff, but like out of the box, it was a really fun precon. This is one of my favorite precons of the year, I think. Um Again, I think I expected a little bit more for OTJ this year. Like
Mhm.
I wanted more, like you were saying, I could see the set as a whole being an A tier, not an S tier. But I would say, like, with the right upgrades, like, I could see him being a really fun casual deck. I don't think he could be, like, super high power. Maybe he could. I don't know. But I wouldn't build him that way. I just want him and the baby. Was it Kiri?
Yes.
Yeah, that was one we wanted to build too. We wanted to build a plant deck. I never got around to doing that. So maybe do that or upgrade him into next year. But A tier for me. I was really happy with this deck.
Episode 36 with CDH with Bosch and Roll and Cam, where I played Yuriko and you played Nixilis.
Yeah, no notes for Ob.
No notes for Ob. Yuriko, I love. Yuriko will always be an S tier deck on the CDH realm for me.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's easy to like understand
It's
and
a great beginner
digest
one,
as
yeah.
a deck. It's also just fun. You get flips that are really cool. You have a lot of interaction. It's just a great deck, and a lot of cool ninjas have been coming out too.
A lot. And we just had that Planeswalker for Kaido too. I think they have two
Yeah.
this year, right?
Yeah, there's been like a lot of really cool add-ons
Yeah.
into instant adds to Yuriko.
There's so many like benefits to Yuriko. I really do think this is a beginner friendly deck. And it's a lot of like from casual to CDH. That's like a great deck. That's an intro to that. What did you wind up ranking Yuriko?
Oh, she's S tier for me.
S tier. I don't think I actually gave like a thing for Ob if that wasn't clear, but he's definitely D for Dookie. I'm never playing him again.
You did not have a good time
No,
playing
I
on
did not have a
Nixilis?
good time on him. I would rather play a Jund deck, but my Jund deck doesn't exist, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to just add, we only had time to film one episode with Bosch and Roll, but I want him to come back. He was so surprisingly funny. Like I knew he was a funny guy. We enjoyed talking to Brian. He's wonderful, and Cam. They made for like really fun energy together. I was crying laughing because he was so funny and so good. He had a great camera presence.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna have Bosch and Roll back on the
100%.
channel next year
Yeah.
for sure.
Our next episode with CDH with Dylan and Ian. You played Winota again. Or no,
I played Agila.
you played. I was reading mine. You played Najila again, and then I played Winota. Winota has had a very turbulent year. I did top 4 and top 10 with her, and I think a top 16 this year. So she's still like fine. We've had some changes with the bands and stuff, so I definitely wouldn't say she was S tier. She would probably be closer to like A or B. I will always keep her on A. I'm going to make adjustments to her. I don't think that deck is ever going to come apart. But I think since the bans, I actually think she's in a better position. So maybe we'll see more of Winota in the future too. Our next episode was with the Command Zone. We had Rachel and Jimmy come on, and Tori played Bill. This was an iconic showing of Bill, and I played Amalia. I'm going to let you rant about Bill, so I'm going to go real fast and just say that I was getting bored of vampires, so playing Amalia was like a really fun way to play a different deck for her. I enjoy Life Gain and Life Drain, but like vampires can get repetitive, so I really liked her concept, and she's just cute. I feel like it's my twin.
Yeah.
When my hair's up in my
Amalia's
glasses.
great.
She's great. Bill, please tell us about Bill.
Bill's big debut was a fantastic game. The second I saw Bill in Thunder Junction, I knew I had to build him. I didn't know what the other cards were yet, so this was like Bill and 99 others that were not from Thunder Junction. S tier for sure. It's in my drawer. I'm so excited to play Bill whenever I can because Bill's super cheap. There's a lot of really cool landfall cards. He gets stupid big, stupid fast.
He's also just a dumb.
He's just like a guy. I was so happy to sign some Bills at MagicCon, and I just love Bill. I will play this deck until it's impossible. I have to definitely make some changes because I know there's new cards that come out will be probably better in Bill, and I do want to like tinker with the list. But yeah, absolute S tier.
Yeah.
Favorite, probably one of the favorite decks that, or it probably will be my favorite deck that I built this year.
I think Amalia is also living on an S tier for me. She might not be my favorite one, but she's like a close up there. I really enjoyed playing her. Her ability is also really good. It's really scary, but outside of the 20, blow up everything thing. It's just a really fun deck to play. It was Rachel's returning time on the channel. We've had her there on there before. It was very exciting to always have Rachel at the table. She's such a great player. Having Jimmy for the first time was really cool too. We had him for a second episode, which we'll talk about in a bit, but I thought that was a really fun game.
It was super fun.
Really fun
They were
game.
so much fun to play with. Can't wait to play with them again.
Our next episode is with Ashlyn and Becca Scott. So I think this was both of their first time on the channel, right? Yeah. And they've also just been like so lovely, and it's always nice when we get to play with women and like have a full girl pod at a table, and I want to make sure that in 2025 we do more of this. And the two of them are just like the sweetest, so when they play scary decks, it's my favorite. I love just like a bunch of sweet cute girls that are like playing just big scary monsters.
Yes.
So in this one though, you did play some really cute stuff. You played Rin and Seri.
I did. I played Rin and Seri, and Rin and Seri is an S tier deck for me. I remember earlier when I said I took apart Miri. Well, this is why. So one of my friends, Matt from Flavor Profiles, was nice enough to actually he bought 2 of the Secret Lair Rin and Seri decks when they were dropped on the Secret Lair site, and they sold out before I can get one. He was nice enough to, be like, "Hey, I have 2. You can have one."
Yeah.
So I was so excited about this deck because the Soul Ring in it is double-sided, and one of them is Chopper and one of them is Oliver. It's my cat and my dog.
It looks just like them.
But the list itself is really fun. I did make some minor changes to the list, but the stock list was great. But this has become my new pet deck. Literally. It's got the meme in there because it's literally my pets too. But yeah, Miri's been scrapped for this deck. Miri's in this deck now. It's where she lives, and I'm slowly trying to replace all the cards with Secret Lair cards or Secret Lair printings of those cards.
That's fun. I like that.
Yeah. Super cool deck. It's really, really powerful, and it's also just cute. All the cards are just so cute.
And one thing about, like, because I have a Rin and Seri deck too, it's really fun to be like, oh, you're not going to kill a dog or cat, would you? Like, you literally just be like, oh, you're not going to block this thing. So it's fun to politic with the deck.
Yeah, and Elena Danner's like basics in it are just so beautiful. So it's just like one of those decks I love playing, and I just love looking at it, and everybody else is like, oh, it's such a cute card. So it's really, really cool.
I actually played a Lara Croft deck in here. I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan. Like, I played it when I was a kid, like the old
Triangle boobs.
I was gonna say it, but yes, I wasn't sure if I could say it, but Tori said it, so it's perfect. With the triangle boobs. And you know what? I liked the Angelina Jolie movies, and I played the 2013 version. Like, I really loved this. So I picked up this Secret Lair immediately. I actually think Ian gave it to me, so I'm lying a little bit, but it was
also played a Secret Lair deck.
Yeah. Oh, it's kind of fun. We both played Secret Lair decks. This deck, though, I don't know if it's going to come back into the channel, but I'm not going to scrap it for parts. So it's probably going to live in B. If it comes back next year, it would be a vast improvement to the deck. It's really hard to win with this deck. She's a really cool card design, and I love teamer decks. It is really, really hard to win with the way that it's built right now. So I think it would live on a B tier, but I'm not going to scrap it. So it's kind of where I'm at right now. Next one was with Krim and Joe Johnson. So this was Krim's first time on the channel. Krim plays crazy decks that take a million hours, and that's just Krim, and I love that for him. But he's also just so fun, and I love him and Joe together. Like, they have great chemistry. Anytime I go to LA to like get food, it's usually with those two, and we all like to do like scary movies and stuff. So I knew they would be really fun to play on the channel together, and they were great. You played Bill again this time, and I played Mastermind Plum. Your Bill was like insane this game, right?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
the
I had
numbers
Bill
were
and Scoot, and it was like obnoxious.
Yeah. And it was really hard to close out the game with it, which was like the craziest part to me because he was humongous, right? But it just like couldn't get through. But regardless, it was a really cool showing of Bill. So if you enjoyed Tori's other Bill game, definitely check that one out. I really enjoyed playing that game. My Mastermind Plum did not do too much. However, when I played it outside of that game, it's been a very successful deck. I think it's gotta be a B tier. Like, I don't think you'll see it again on the channel unless there's vast improvements, but I definitely want to tinker with it. I don't think I want to take it apart. I like to have a monocolored deck for everything, so that's kind of the project I've been doing. And he's a really cool design. The clue cards I thought were really interesting this year, so I wanted to build something from it because I liked those a little bit more than like what we got from MKM, so I thought it'd be cool to do that. So yes, not the best showing of it. If I can make it a little bit more fine-tuned for next year, then maybe we'll see it there too. But living on B tier. Our next episode was with Joe and Jimmy.
Yeah, I played Arden and Essior, which I give it a boom. It goes on the S tier for me. I still have this deck together. I do have to make some changes to it because I'm pretty sure there's probably a Jewel Lotus in there or some
Probably
kind of
something.
banned card. But it was a really fun deck. It was a cool blue-white partner deck. I loved playing Hammer in Modern, which is really not a good deck at this time.
Mhm.
So to fulfill my love for equipments and winning with cool equipments, we built this deck.
Yeah.
Because Arden has that whole like basically a Sigarda's Aid on a card. Really, really fun, really different deck, and also was just I feel like it has potential to be really, really strong, but you
Mhm.
could also change it to be like a more casual focused deck. And they're both partners, so if you want to switch them around, you can. But for me, S tier, definitely going to bring this one back. I think I want to tinker with it and try to make it also like a CDH deck.
Yeah. Um, I played Aragorn for the first time, and this is like probably my favorite deck that I made this year. The Aragorn the Uniter is a really great concept. I love that every time you cast a spell of that color, it has a different effect, and you can do multicolored spells, so it makes for a really fun one. Again, I think this is my S tier deck. It was my favorite deck that I made this year, and I really enjoyed playing it. Had a pretty decent showing on this one too, so I would highly recommend checking that out. This is Joe Magnella's first time on the channel. We had him for another episode that was very, very spicy. But he was a hoot. Very fun at the table. Him and Jimmy together were really fun. Bubbles, his dog, was there. Bubbles is an icon. Just, we had a really great time playing this game as well. Next up is episode 42. Rachel Weeks was back, and this time we had Dakota from Wizard of Barge. Tori played Renansari again, and I played my Sithis deck. This deck was actually a $50 budget deck, which we filmed for a $50 budget deck episode that we wind up losing, so I was happy to bring her back. And she actually did really well this game for a deck that was $50. I guess we got really lucky with the reprints for Enchantress type of stuff this
Oh
year.
yeah, a lot of good enchantments.
It's been, yeah, so the price is very low on it. It is S tier. I don't know if I'm going to play it again next year just because I felt like it was very, very strong for a $50 deck. But yes, I loved her. She was really, really fun. Playing with Dakota was really fun. He played his own secret lair that he did, so I thought that was a really cool like design choice. Like he came with his little playmat and with his own art that he did. And it was really fun having him. He was really silly. He's a
Yeah.
goblin king, so it was really great to
Yeah,
see more
he
goblins.
played Muxus.
Yes.
So much fun.
Muxus was great.
Goblins are always great.
And Rachel played, like, I think, was this her Sidisi game? I think
Yeah.
so. She did some crazy stuff too with that episode. This was a really fun episode, thinking back on it. So I would highly recommend checking that one out. Our next one is episode 43 with the bullies. Beatdown bullies. Beatdown, buff down.
Bufftown bullies from Buffalo, New York.
I'm thinking Beamtown, the card. And then it sounds like I'm saying Beantown, like Massachusetts.
Beantown.
Bufftown bullies. They came over to play. We love them. They're great guys. Tori played Tivit this time, and I played Corvold, which for me, Corvold was like the upgraded version of Obnixilis. It's not the same type of deck, but it was like, it gave you that extra color, so it made it a little bit more fun and viable for something that was, where I was at Rakdos before. Unfortunately, this deck, I'm not going to say died because I don't think that's a great way to say to people
As a CEDH deck, it is not the best.
It's not the best anymore. We lost like Dockside Dualism. All these things were really good for Corvold. But it is such a fun commander. I used to have a Corvold casual deck, but I never played it.
Yeah, also
So-
Lady played Corvold
On our channel. Yeah.
and her build of Corvold is really, really cool.
Yeah.
So if you want to see a more casual build of Corvold, that's
Yeah.
also on our channel. This was the CDH build, which, like we said, rest in peace.
Yes. But it was really fun and I enjoyed playing it a lot. It's hard. It was not my typical style of CDH decks, so I had a lot to learn. There was a lot of like pausing in between takes to be like, okay, am I doing this right? But I liked the win conditions. I found it really fun and exciting to play a deck like that. So I'm hopefully looking for something else. He would have been my S tier deck, but unfortunately, I think he's on the Dookie tier. I'm so sorry. He's not my first Dookie. My Ob is also a Dookie. Dookie Corvold.
Yeah, I have Tivit. I had a lot of fun playing Tivit.
Yeah.
I feel like I hate him. I feel like post ban Tivit is probably like I
think it's
don't even
fine.
know. Is it fine? I feel like Tivit's probably gonna go drop down from like what I thought was an A tier to like a B, only because Tivit's really expensive.
Yeah, he's expensive.
So not that 2 cards being banned makes a world of a difference, but they sure did help. But that is the one drawback to playing Tivit. As fun as I have playing him, if you can't get him out quickly, and sometimes you're just stuck.
Well, he's a very commander focused deck too. So like there's obviously like mid range and other play styles of commander for CDH, right? But like he has a win condition with a card, and so he is very commander focused.
Yeah, you really want Tivit out there, and when he's costing like 6 mana,
it's a lot.
it's a lot.
It's a lot on that,
It's a
yeah.
lot.
All right, moving on to our game with Krim and Ashlyn. They also have great chemistry as friends. They're hysterical together.
It was a very fun game.
I want to bring them back, and I think we should do like the best waifus, like as a deck, or like the most like weeby decks that we can do because they're just hysterical. But this was a really fun game. In this one, you played Dragon, and I played Aragorn again.
Yeah, this was actually the first time I played Dragon too. I had so much fun playing Dragon. As we know, I love playing dragons because Kali is full of dragons. But and in the past I've had Lathless, which was a fun deck, but because it was mono red, sometimes you got stuck. Dragon's a really fun Oops All Dragons type of deck, and since it does have all of the colors in there, you can just build it in so many ways and add so many powerful cards and really fine tune it. I think the Dragon right now is probably at like a B tier for me. I don't know if I'm gonna bring it back. Yeah. Probably not gonna come back just because we're also getting so many new dragons now that I want to like
play something
else.
It is nice though because you could like put all the dragons in there and test out different things if you wanted to. Our next episode was with Tyler and Scoop. This is a really fun one. We did play the same decks where Tori played Tivit and I played Corval for this one, so we're not going to dive too much into it, but it was a really fun game. We love having Tyler here. Scoop is really fun. The two of them together were absolute chaos, so we recommend checking that out. And the episode after that was our Duskmourn Precons. We actually played this as, what was it called?
Arch Enemy.
Arch Enemy, yes. And Steve was the Arch Enemy, and the rest of us got our asses whooped. But it was a really fun game. So let's talk a little bit about the precons that we chose.
So I played the Master of Keys, which is the alternate commander in the commander deck that I had. I think the Master of Keys itself is an A tier. I would like to bring it back and build it on my own. I know Master of Keys also saw some like CDH play too.
So people are playing it in CDH.
Yeah, and it's just a really cool card. Its effect's really neat. The artwork's really cool. Playing this as a precon where we're getting our asses kicked by Steve as Arch Enemy, it did not really perform the way I wanted it to.
Right.
But I would like to actually build this commander myself.
Yeah.
So I think it's an A tier for me.
I played Winter, and I really wanted to play the Scarecrow alternate thing instead, and then I was surprised by how good Winter was. I wasn't too excited about Winter as a card design. I love Golgari, so I was like, yes, I'll play this deck. I would say it's like an A tier for me. But I really liked the precons for these. Like, I think the Fallout precons worked the best together, and so did these ones. I thought these were really fun to play together.
Yeah, and Arch Enemy was a really cool product, like, or not product, but a really cool design thing that they added to this. Like, it had like the Arch Enemy cards that they put in with the precons.
Yeah.
And they were fun. They were a fun, different way to play Commander. We've never played Arch Enemy before this. So it was a cool experience to try something different that's still multiplayer.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll put Winter in that tier, but I could see myself like making that or like the other Scarecrow Commander or something. But it's something I'm going to keep together. I don't think I'm going to like scrap it for parts. I think it would need a lot of changes and overhaul to be like a consistent deck, but I really did like these precons, so I was happy with that. Our next episode was with Joe Johnson and Becca. This one you played Voya, which was cool because you had lost an episode with that, you finally got a chance to play it, and I played Amalia again.
Voya's great. Voya's A tier for me. The only reason it's not S tier for me is because everyone hates it so much that they're just like, kill her now.
I feel like you might be able to get away with it next year, because I feel like this year there was so like meme stuff and like a lot of chatter about it where people were like, "This is the biggest boogeyman of a card." It is strong though, because I don't know if it was this game. It might have been the one that we had lost where I was like, I should kill like a 1/1 elf that you had.
Yes.
And then I was like, oh, I feel bad knocking out something, and then it was like fucking bananas.
In this game, you all killed me. I didn't even cast Voya. You all just killed me. You were like,
I don't think I killed it.
I'm gonna say y'all. I don't think you did, but I know. Actually, I think you did kill me.
I don't think I killed you at the end. I think, or no? Did you win this game?
No, I died and I sat there. Y'all killed me. The game it did well in got deleted because the file was corrupted.
Right. This one was when Joe stopped the thing from popping up, and I killed you early because I thought the game was going to end. That's what it was. Right. I thought I had it. And then
I think you also had some Voya PTSD from the deleted footage.
No, I don't think you. I think I have PTSD for that single elf in particular, and if we seen that again, that shit should die. Absolutely not. But yeah, we played another game with it where we lost the footage, so I was happy you got a chance to play it as well.
But as a deck itself, Steve and I put this together from cards we had on hand, and it worked.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. Is Voya's so strong that like, if you just got like, oh, I got some elves at home in a box,
Very like
you
typo
know?
stuff.
Yeah, it works. It just is gross.
Yep.
And it's a fun commander, even though it's like abysmal for everybody else playing against it because it has like ward strong, it like draws you cards, puts +1s on. It's disgusting. It's a
Right.
disgusting card, but God, it's fun.
Our next one is another CDH game with Tyler and Brian for the Bufftown Bullies. You played Goto this time. I played Nagila.
Yeah, that was my I haven't played Goto since like years ago.
Yeah.
Goto is really, really fun. I know it recently won a tournament.
Yep.
Post ban, which is pretty cool. I would definitely play this again. I don't know if I would call it an S tier. I'll put it on the A tier. I'll play Goto again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's fun.
Nagila lives in S tier for both of us, so I think that's a pretty simple thing to throw out there. Our next episode was episode 49. This was the Oops All Dragons game in which I brought Miriam and you bought the Dragon, and neither of us were prepared for the Joe Dragon.
Yeah, this was a very high power deck of dragons. I tried to build the Dragon high power with like fast mana to get Dragon out and like
Well, we both did.
disruption.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, because I had Dragon from the other game.
Right.
So we swapped
we
some
swapped
of
out
the
some cards, and like
yeah.
with that too, we had like a pregame conversation of knowing that Joe's deck was really strong. I just didn't know it was that strong. So this is like a power level mismatch kind of game, but we had so much fun playing it, and like the chemistry was good, and like Joe's together were really funny, and so we wanted to still release it. I thought more people would be upset about the power level difference, and I was surprised that it wasn't like as badly received in general because it was a fun game. But yeah, this was like a not great matchup for those.
Yeah,
decks.
and it was funny because I remember we went to like game 2 and I kept like disruption because I was like, oh, I could just stop the combo and then we were fine.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the right disruption.
Yeah, it's all right. I played Miriam. This deck I played on Prof's channel this year too, and it didn't have the best showing on either, but it is like so good with like a Lurking Predators, and the commander itself is really fun. I think it would be on like a B tier where I don't know if I'm going to bring it back because it's an expensive commander to cast, but I think that it could be a higher tier with a lot of modifications to the deck, and it's a really fun. I think it's my favorite dragon because it's got a really great mechanic on there. So
She's just camera shy.
she's a little camera shy, yeah. Episode 50 was another game with Play to Win, and this time you played Talion and I played Timna Crum.
I had so much fun playing Talion. Talion's a really cool like mid-range CDH deck.
Mhm.
I'll definitely play it again. I don't know if it's an S tier. It's probably like on a CDH tier. I don't know where the hell it is. On Tori having fun tier, it was probably an A for me. I just liked it. I liked the whole like picking up a number and like everything else that comes with it. Also, like it's a blue-black deck. That's fun. I'm used to that with Yuriko now after playing that sometimes. So
It's like a little like slower because you're controlling the board with what you're doing. It's a big control deck, right? So you're just like letting people cast their things for 2 usually, and burning them out that way, and then swinging with your big creature, right? But you're not like actively making big like pump spells doing stuff. It's more of like controlling the board and then waiting for your moment to win, which is nice. I play Timna Crum. It's like an S tier deck. Everybody knows it. For me, I play a lot of like fringes CDH decks, so playing a deck where every draw is good was really fun. I really enjoyed that. So that's an S tier deck for me. And then we have some other episodes that are coming out or have been out. We have not fully gotten a chance to like go through and review them. I know we played another one with Dylan and Cam, and I'm not sure what we played in that.
I think I played Tivit. I think
it was both decks we had already played on the channel. So something we try to do this year was just to have like 2 episodes of us playing the same deck, because we know it gets a little repetitive when we play a deck like 3 or 4 times. It is not the most easy thing to do, not the most cost-effective thing to do, but we do always try to change up what we're playing and take feedback from people who enjoy our show or take deck suggestions. So if you see a deck more than once, it's probably on there twice. We gotta do what we gotta do.
Yep.
Yeah, and with the time that we have to record and how close things are and how much we do record in advance, we try to fit in when a new set comes out next year. We know what sets are coming out, and we can try and plan to like have new decks for those episodes that come out. But a lot of this will be like evergreen cards that lay into Commander for many years. when a new set comes out, we'll try and see if we can film something for
Yeah.
it specifically. So let's talk a little bit about deck plans for 2025. Just kind of going over like I want to go to every set this year that I didn't publish something from, like a deck from. So for me, Bloomburrow, I really want to build a Wick deck. That's one I'm excited for. Foundations, the Loot and Elenda decks were ones that I'm really interested in building too. I started building Marina from Duskmourn. I haven't finished that yet. I definitely think from Fallout, maybe like a Caesar deck could be really fun, but there was
Mhm.
some other cool ones too. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff I want to try that I didn't get a chance to build yet. Was there anything that stood out to you too?
I definitely want to build some of the foundations commanders that we talked about.
Yeah.
Those sound really, really fun, and they're also just new. Some of the jumpstart cards are really, really cool, and those are like you can only play them in that format or in Commander. So some of those. I didn't build a Bloomburrow deck, even though I told myself I would. So I'll probably also look back to make. I really wanted to make Glarb. Didn't make Glarb, so I think Glarb is on the list. But as a goal for 2025, I do want to, like you also said, start to make commander decks out of each set that comes out,
Yeah, I
even if
think,
they're
like,
not
one.
like,
Yeah.
crazy powerful.
I
Just
think it's
having
nice
a
to
cool
fun.
set.
It's good, one, for the channel, and two, to like have a time capsule of like a set coming out. I have like 4 Bloomburrow decks I still want to build, like my Flubs deck too. Like I just haven't gotten around to doing it. So hopefully you'll see some new stuff from us going into the next year. But I also think there's like a lot of, I don't want to feel restricted with deck building. I want creative stuff. Like, should we do episodes where it's like, what's the best monocolored deck? What's the best thing from this set? Maybe we could do more budget brews or unique types of brews too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I also wrote down. I wanted to start doing brews based on like random genres. Like this one's I don't know, my classic horror deck themed off of classic movie references. This card reminded me of this, that,
Right.
of that one. Like just silly things like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like it's really fun and cool when people do like an outside of Magic theme and bring it in to the deck.
I mean, we have so many benefits of that now with like UB, right? Like there's so
Yeah.
many ways to make it fun. I also think that could be really fun to like challenge some people, be like, hey, if you're down when you come to film with us, we're going to try doing one of these themes. Which one sounds good to you? And if they want to jump in, then we can all like, what's the best horror movie deck? And we all pick like a different horror movie or something. Or what's the best Miyazaki theme deck? And we all build like something that feels like that too. I think that could be a really fun pod also.
Yeah.
So those are just some ideas. I'm sure y'all are listening and have many of them. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, or if you want to talk to us about our deck rankings for the year, then let us know down in the comment section what your thoughts are about that.
Yep, and if you have anything you want to see in 2025, whether it be podcast topics, decks you want to see on the channel, more CDH, more casual, more power level low, whatever you want to see, be sure to let us know so we can listen and apply it to 2025.
It's crazy how quick this year has gone by, how many episodes we filmed this year, how many different people we got on the channel, which makes me excited for next year because we have so many exciting new guests and we're filming some stuff this month, literally, and next month too. So it's going to be really, really fun. So thank you again for all of your support this year. It's been really fun to watch the channel grow. We hit like big subscriber numbers for us, which was really
We
cool.
did. We hit big subscriber numbers. We had a really, really awesome long line at MagicCon Vegas for our meet and greet, which was really humbling and really incredible.
You missed Chicago, but a bunch of people wrote you
Did everybody in
notes.
Chicago? People wrote in my passport book for me as our dog had surgery, so I wasn't able to be there. But yeah, I was really, really happy to go to Vegas and see everybody, and those just keep getting bigger and better. So excited for those next year.
I had a lot of people too. I like put out my YouTube channel this week, and like there was a lot of comments that were like, you and Tori make me so excited for Magic. You and Tori are like what I show my daughters, which is crazy. I love to hear that. Thank you. You and Tori make me excited to play this, make me feel safe. And it was just like the most like gratitude from people that was like really, really nice to hear. So thank you for being nice to us. This is like the best job. We love doing it. We still have our own jobs that we do throughout the day. It's a lot of work going into this channel, and we're so grateful to Ian and Steve for helping us on set, and Mod, our editor, and like everybody that makes Crybabies possible. And for all of you who watch us, just thank you so much. We had such a great year. I'm
We
really
did.
excited for next year. Emotional ending to the Crybabies Wrapped. Also, last note, support us on Patreon. If you want to support us in a way that is not just doing all the free stuff, which we appreciate, definitely do that. We're on Patreon. Tori makes a bunch of cool stuff on there. We have a bonfire store. You can support us on there too. And all the free ways to do that, of course, are liking, subscribing, commenting, rating our podcast. So that's all.
That's it, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Take care.